turn everything off.
All right. Good morning.
Well, what happened to you last week? You disappeared.
Huh? Oh, the wife had orders from the CEO to come in.
Okay, well, as long as it wasn't an equipment failure, that was my major concern. But social integration with the family is more important than ham radio. W7MS.
Yeah, it tends to override it. Yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But you're sounding good this morning.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm running the Viking kilowatts, so we can. It's been a while, and I made rearrange things here. Got the 375 and the GP7 put over to Studio C, so I could actually access the Viking, because we're entering the summer season.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm on the ART-13, let's say, today. Kind of got part of the station torn down, so this is the only side that's working right now. But constantly rearranging things.
W5HRO.
Well, we could hear Brian this morning as opposed to last Sunday. So good morning, Brian. W5HRO with W6MQI, W7MS.
Yeah, I can hear both you guys really loud. So how you doing this morning? I heard Dave's on what is AR-13. I remember when he got that thing.
Yeah, it's an old workhorse. It's working good, man. Went through a lot to get it working, but it's working good.
You still have the BC348?
I do. It's on a shelf in the garage right now. I don't use it currently.
Yeah, I still need to finish mine up. You know, I have that K model, and one of these days I'm going to pull it out and finish it.
Was that the blue-colored one?
No, it's the black K. It's the K model. I think it's made by. It's one of the original ones made by RCA. I think I'd have to look at it again. I think the label in the back says RCA.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking somebody else. I could have sworn you had one that was colored blue.
Oh God, that'd be ugly.
Well, I don't remember ever saying. I didn't want to say anything to the person.
Kind of like the blue light special.
Yeah. Well, we're here just fine this week, Brian. Do any changes or just same old setup?
No, the homebrew transmitter running about 300 watts carrier, you know, with the high positive modulation, the ultra modulation. Well, the reason I'm strong is because it's early in the morning.
Well, yeah, true. We'll see what happens here. I'll go back in and top off my coffee cup.
I'm on my second cup already.
And NU6F.
Put your earplugs in, Ron? Apparently so, W7MS.
Yeah, okay, Mike. Well, I'll tell you, boy, the receiver on the MAB is really something to overcome. Yeah, there's no volume control, and I'm going to have to do something. It's just overdriving the headphones crazy. But anyhow, so I'm having to go ahead and decipher over on the SDR. Okay, well, at least I guess we got a clear channel. NU6F.
Well, it sounds good audio-wise. So So nice to hear you this morning. And I guess as a rebuttal, maybe I can fire up my BC611 handy walkie-talkie into an amplifier and try to give you some competition.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'm running a full almost 200 milliwatts, so that's going to be really overpowering the BC611. Well, yeah, receive-wise, I'm going to have to find some way to put a pad in here for the audio. It's just rattling the earphones like crazy. So, not that I expected high fidelity, but yeah, there you go. All right. Well, sounds good. It sounds like we have a growing group already. I'll be standing by. NU6F.
This is W6 Queen Uncle Montague tuning.
W6AQU NU6F. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good morning. I was looking at reflective there, and I got back just in time to hear you. What's happening in your part of the world? How's your noise?
Well, the only noise is the noise coming out of the earphones. So, I don't think I have any extraneous unwanted noise. And this is maiden voyage on the new little rig, the Navy MAB on an amplifier. But boy, the receiver, yuck! It's really tough to copy on these earphones. I just tried putting a resistor across the earphones to pad it down, so there's no volume control on these things. So, but anyhow, it makes RF and it listens RF. So there you go. W6AQU and U6F.
Looking for the noise, and we got about an F6 in noise here this morning with adjacent activity. Looks like it's clear out there. All right, all the way around. Well, I just jumped in here to put my 2 cents in, and I'm going to go out in the galley and get myself a cup of coffee, and I shall return. NU6F. W6 Queen Uncle.
Okay, I think I'm going to grab a fresh cup. All right, catch you in a little bit, and U6F.
Well, glad to hear all the usual suspects. W7MS.
W6SSB.
Hello, Steve. Booming in. We'll see how we progress since QSB is the first one to hit you, but pinning the S meter on the A1 this morning.
Yeah, same here, Mike. You're really booming in, and so far noise levels are low. Hope that continues. Anyway, we'll see. Hey, have you been on the air much this week on 40 and 20?
Not at all. I did the Collins Nets on Friday evening since I was NCS, but that's about it. Not to be controversial, but I got my COVID booster Friday, so I spent yesterday with a massive headache.
Okay. Sounds good. I was just kind of wondering. I haven't been on much either, but a buddy of mine that just got his license a couple months ago was saying that he wasn't hearing anything on 20 or 40 this week, and I kind of suspect he got a bad rig off of eBay, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, yeah, hey, that's really cool on the COVID boosters. We get one too. We're probably due to get ours again soon, so... Yeah, kind of controversial, but you know what? I've had it once, and that's enough. Anyway, standing by for the net, W6SSP.
Oh, great, Steve. I hope he didn't. I hope it's not a rig issue, but it's probably an easy one to number one on the list of issues rather than propagation. And I'm sure you asked the obvious questions. Do you have an antenna connected? But got you on that. And fine on that. Yeah, it trashed at Christmas and New Year's for me in 2021. So a big 10-4 on that comment. W7MS.
JRY. Good morning, Jerry, and U6F.
Good morning. Our warm weather went away, and it's kind of cold over here today.
Yeah, yesterday was the same thing. We had all that nice warm weather, and then yesterday the wind picked up. It was still not that cold. It was mid-40s, but with the wind, it was pretty much a big change. And good deal. New rig this morning, and at least I find out what else I have to do. Yikes. I'm on an MAB. It was just the chassis, so I had to come up with all the rest for it. But, yeah, it actually works. W6JRY and U6F.
Yeah, and U6F, W6JRY. Well, I've sure got a good signal. You're up like the way over the S9 mark. In fact, I heard Steve there, and I heard Mike, and everybody's way up. Good signals on the band here this morning, so we'll have to see how that goes, but good propagation anyway, here at this time. Yeah, anyway, we'll stand by here and see what happens. It's W6JRY.
Okay, Jerry.
Okay.
Yeah. I heard everybody just fine. Like I said,
Quite a bit of activity, so sounds like a good time to get that started.
Just the noise level is enough to go ahead and rattle the earphone. So
Tweaking and
I'm
tweaking.
going to have to put a little,
And talking.
put a little pad in here. All right, sounds good. I'll be standing by also.
It's probably about as good as it gets. Okay, WA7YBS here, and it's the Vintage Military Radio Net. I'll be your net control today. So there you go. Good morning to those who are present in the order that I've heard them this morning. In the number one spot is Mike, W7MS. Good morning, Mike. Good signal in here. Number two is Steve, W6SSP. Morning, Steve. Good signal. Number three is Jerry, W6JRY. Morning, Jerry. Good signal. Number four is Ron, and U6F. Morning, Ron. Good signal in here on the new rig. And so that's what I've heard so far. Let's see who else is out there. So this is Vintage Military Radio Net, and this is kind of, the warm-up round that morphs into the round one as we get check-ins. So number 5 is open if you want to check into the MILRAD net, the Nevada MILRAD net. Number 5 is open. Check in now.
W6, Abel, Queen, Uncle.
with more power, new antenna improvement. K6VXY, I'd like to be 5 or 6, whatever I wind up with.
W6MQI.
WA6OPE. Okay, in the order that I heard, number 5 is Bob, W6AQU. Good morning, Bob. Good signal. Number 6 is Vern, K6VXY with a new antenna. It sounds like it, Vern. There, you're strong here. So good morning to you. You're number 6. Number 7 is Dave, W6MQI. Morning, Dave. Good signal. Number 8 is Tom, WA6OPE. Morning, Tom. Good signal. And let's see who else is out there. Number 9 is Open Vintage Military Radio Net. If you want to check in, do it now.
K0DWC.
Okay, there's Chuck, K0DWC in the number 9 spot. Okay, let's run down the list, and we'll see what develops. So, in the number 1 spot is Mike, W7MS. Number 2 is Steve, W6SSP. Number 3 is Jerry, W6JRY. Number 4 is Ron, NU6F. Number 5 is Bob, W6AQU. Number 6 is Vern, K6VXY. Number 7 is Dave, W6MQI. Number 8 is Tom, WA6OPE. Number 9 is Chuck, K0DWC. See if there's a 10. Anybody want to check in? Be number 10. Do it now. Okay, we're on the 32V3, running about 110 watts or so of carrier power. And the antenna is the collinear array. Microphone is a D104 direct grid connection, no amplifier. And the receiver is the military connection, British Royal Army. It's a Raycal RA17L. So let's get started. Up to number 1, W7MS. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, thank you, Henry. WA7YBS, W7MS, Mike in Reno. Good morning to one and all. Good signals. I think Chuck was the lightest. We'll see how it is here for round 1 in the rotation. But this morning, dusted off things, moved the BC375 and the GP7 into Studio C so I could have an operating position here and use the Johnson Viking kilowatt, also known as the desk kilowatt, the erroneous designation, and listening on the Collins 75A1. And of course, as the old timers know, the difference here is no Ranger involved here, but driving the Johnson desk with a 32V3, so that's audio excitation to the 810s and RF excitation to the Parafor 400s. So, but the military connection is, just to make it official, is I didn't turn off the panoramic Pan-Adapt PCA 2T-200, which had a Navy inspection acceptance stamp on it. Civilian product pressed into service in, I guess, the late end of World War II. So that's the military connection. So over to Steve, W6SSP, W7MS.
Okay, Mike, very good. Everybody's sounding terrific this morning. And good conditions, low noise here, which is, I hope that stays that way for a little while. Anyway, Steve, W6SSP, just north of Santa Rosa, using the usual Collins 32V1 transmitter and 75A1 receiver, into a dipole about 30 feet up, and D104 unamplified microphone. Military connection is, I'm surrounded by them, but I'm not using any right now. So that's about as good as it gets right at the moment. And Jerry, you were talking about you're using an MAB. Sounds really good. I wonder if you could give us a brief description of what it is. That's not one that's familiar to me, at least. Over to you, W6JRY, W6SSP.
Yeah, okay. Very good, Steve. W6SSP in the group, W6JRY. Good morning to all. everybody, really good signals here this morning. That wasn't me. That was Ron. I'm on the 32V3 and a 75A4 this morning. And let's see. No military connections here this morning. Okay on everybody so far. Steve, on your regular, I'm on my regular, and well, let's see, we got 3 Collins receivers here this morning. 75A4, 275A1. There, I think that's what Mike was using. 75A1 with a desk and a pin adapter. Sounds like the one I might have had here some time in the past that's gone away. And anyway, so far everybody's really sounding real good here. So yeah, I'm not sure what that is, MAD or MAB that Ron is running, but I guess we'll find out. So over to you, Ron, NU6F in the group, W6JRY.
Okay, let's see if I got it. Yep, there we go. Yeah, it's slow on the transmit. It's one of those push to talk, turns on the transmitter filaments, and switch back over to receive. You unkey and wait for the receiver to come back. Well, good copy on everybody, as much as I can say, because I'm using headphones on this. There's no volume control, and oh yeah, it really needs it. The earphones are rattling. It's hard to understand anybody unless the audio's low. But anyhow, yeah, good deal, good copy on all. The weather here is, it's telling Jerry, yeah, it's colder than it has been. So no snow, so it's not that much. Yeah, the MAB was a freebie from one of the guys on the military email list, and I was the winner of an MAB chassis. No case, no earphones, no mic, no power supply, but just the guts. Anyhow, yeah. So it wasn't that much work getting it going. It's crystal controlled. It's the predecessor to the BC611 handy-talkie. It's the Navy's radio. Of course, the story goes, made for Marine paratroopers, for paramarines. It had a skull cap receiver. It goes in a little canvas bag, a little canvas musette bag, and it's actually pretty darn small. It's a 7-tube radio, 4-tube super het, 3-tube transmitter, master oscillator power amp with a 3S4 for the modulator, and runs on 135, 67 volts, 6-volt bias, and 1.5 volt filament. And I'm running it through. It's normally 200 milliwatts, so I've got both my solid state little QRP amp and the regular 811 amp. So I'm running a 100 watts carrier. All right, there you go. Back to, let's see, Bob Montague, W6AQU, NU6F.
NU6F, W6AQU, very good. Well, good morning. All stations are pretty loud here. Steve, Jerry, excellent radio. The X1, new antenna. Well, I did get a chance to look at the meter. Morning to Dave. OPE resting in. And tail end Charlie. I guess you're pretty good here, Chuck. Good morning to you. Well, let's see. 3 comments. 38 degrees. We're running a single 3500C. 200 watts. Military connection is the wire. The number 11, military. We ended up with 2 rolls of that stuff many years ago. Comments to Henry. I know where the Thunderbolt went. I know you're glad to get that information. That goes a long ways ago. You know, there's a big story there. TC had that and didn't have any jugs. So I took the jugs over to him. Made a special trip over there, a 2-day trip. And I think while we were there, TC took us over to your place and you played piano for us. Well, and then we all went gambling later and had a nice dinner. Anyhow, you know, he never put those jugs in that thing. And after his passing, I got the Thunderbolt. And along with that ART-13 that he gave back to me that I'd traded him for that 10K generator that he was running on that for the power supply before he put the propane rig on. So that's what happens to that. And after I got it and played with it, I moved it on up to Eagle Point, Oregon. That's where the Thunderbolt lives today. All right. With that, down there to Vern. W6. No, maybe that's got a K or something in it. Go ahead, Vern. Let me hear that new antenna. That's a W6 Able Queen Uncle.
Okay, thanks, Bob. It's K6VXY. I was thinking about the military connection. Oh, yeah, I got the ARC-5 from last year's RCA meet. And I used to be in it 4+ years, thanks to Mr. Johnson. Well, that was okay. What he did caused my current marriage, which is surviving, to happen. And that's the story I'll save for the next round if we do. I got a bunch of squirrel stuff and other things. I'm running 100 watts out today and running the IC-70-200, which looks military, my SB-200, the Heathkit look. In between, of course, is the ARC-5. And it's raining here. I'm glad it's not snowing. I have to go out and shake with the wires. Yeah, the wire I'm using is number 10. I went to it, and I came up with this idea that should work. And I'll talk more about the wire. I'm going to do more this week, a lot more stuff. Squirrels have been on a real show up, and I'll save that for the next round. So it's over to nearby Livermore, W6, name is Vern, handle is K6VXY, QTH, Pine Mountain Lake, Groveland. W6MQI, K6VXY.
K6VXY, W6MQI. All righty, Vern. Well, sounds good here in Livermore. I think everybody's sounding good. Chuck, you're a little on the weak side, though, this morning. A little on the weak side. But, yeah, good morning, all. This is Dave. Again, I'm in Livermore. And we're running the T47 ART-13. Listening on the R390A receiver. And it was raining a little while ago. It has stopped, but it's still overcast. And it's 48 degrees. And what else? Yeah, Ron, that MAB sounds actually pretty good. I'm wondering if you're using the RS-38 microphone. I was looking at the MAB on the website here while everybody was talking. Interesting little radio. Don't think I've ever seen one before. Although the MAB sounded familiar. Maybe I was thinking of something else. But, yep, sounded really good. And other than that, I guess I'll keep it moving on. So who's next here? Tom, WA60PE, W6MQI.
Okay, W6MQI, WA7YBS, good morning to all. Tom here in beautiful Richmond, using the usual World War II U.S. Navy setup, TCM transmitter, RBC receiver, mighty 65 watts output, and conditions are, I would say, so-so. Pretty good copy on Mike and Steve, although the QSB noticeable. Jerry not as strong as usual. NU6F was good signal. Q5 could not hear Bob. That's very unusual, but couldn't hear him. He was in the noise. You get a word once in a while, but that was it. And Vern was not near as strong as usual. In the noise, mostly. To get a word once in a while. And MQI nice and loud. So, yeah, weirdo conditions this morning. Well, the big news here, I guess, is the TCZ, Tango Charlie Zebra. I put the transmitter on the power supply, hooked everything all up, put the fuses in the 400-volt supply. I have not put a fuse in the 1150-volt supply yet, but the 400-volt section, 28-volt, all that stuff all came up. For those of you that don't know, the TCZ is basically an ART13 sitting on an AC power supply. It runs off 120 volts AC. And it's it has not operated that, I don't know about the transmitter, the power supply has not operated in at least 60 years, maybe more than that. And it was kind of out in the weather for years too, but it's coming back to life. So we have been cleaning in the transmitter, which is got a TCZ data plate on it, but it is basically an ART13. And was cleaning, adjusting, oiling. The multi-switch inside was stuck, so things had to be a little bit cleaned up and lubricated a little bit. And so anyway, coming to life, it's actually generating RF and I have drive. And oscillator all seems nice and stable, and everything seems to be working pretty well. So it's not too far away from being on the air. So things are looking up. It's going to be interesting when I put a fuse in the 50-volt supply and see what happens. Oh boy. Anyway, so that's what's going on here. Still working on the TDE. I'm almost completely done with the power supply stuff. A lot of cleaning, restoration stuff, fixing broken this or broken that. I have not put the AC power supply in the transmitter just yet. We're getting there. And once I'm done with all that stuff, then I have to get in and start doing some major cleaning in the transmitter itself. So the PDE isn't too far from coming back to life either. So lots of progress has been made. So we shall keep it going. K0DWC, here it comes, WA7YBS.
Okay, Tom, W6RPE K0DWC. Well, sounds like you are up to your neck in great projects and making some great progress. So congratulations on the TDE and the TZZ project. That's great. That's great. I'm looking forward to hearing them both on the air here soon. And Dave, I didn't have my amp on. I transmitted on 10 watts, or no, 15 watts. Forgot to flip the switch. Hopefully I'm coming in better, but anyway, that's what happened there. And congratulations to Vern on the new antenna. Way to go, Vern. You sound really good. And Ryan, congratulations on the MAB. That thing does sound good. I agree with Dave. That thing really sounds cool. So it's neat to have headphones on, isn't it? I use headphones periodically. I don't really say anything about it much, but a lot of times I use headphones just for the sake of using them because they are kind of fun. So, anyway, it sounds like everybody's got some pretty good stuff going on there. Mike, the Desk Kilowatt sounds great. I haven't heard that in a while. Steve, the 32V1 sounds great, and Jerry, and the 32V3 sounds great. And Bob, I missed what you were getting there, but you're strong here, and Darren is strong, Dave and Tom. Tom's got a good signal in here as well, so no problems here. So we'll keep it going, and we're tail on Charlie here. It's all back up to net control. WA7YBS. Morning, Henry. Go ahead and take it.
Okay, Jack, K0DWC WA7YBS. Okay, good copy on everybody. Let's see if there's anybody out there that has been waiting to check in. Number 10 is open. If you want to get in here on the end of round 1, it's we check in now. Well, there's Bill. N6BCT, go ahead and make a transmission, Bill. Turn it back to me, WA7YBS. Go ahead. Okay, Bill. Well, let me write you down here. And anyway, yeah, the copy was a little light on you there. I didn't get all of that, but you know, I did get your call, so that's the important part. And so we'll see. Conditions might get a little better as we go along here, but then again, they might not. You just don't know. So anyway, very good. Good morning to you. Let's see if there's anybody else out there. Number 11 is open. If you want to check in, get in on the end of round 1. Number 11 is open. Check in now. Okay, nothing heard. Well, very good on all. Everybody sounding nice in here. And yeah, the strongest signal is hard to say, other than Chuck, is hard to say. And Ron, I like that 200 milliwatts output and then going into cascade amplifiers. Not bad. 100 watts output. So that's pretty good. Sounded for just I think you said it was a 7-tube set, 4 receiving tubes and 3 transmitting tubes. Sounds pretty good. And okay, Bob on the Thunderbolt. And yeah, that was the write-up that I did on the Viking 1. And you know, that started life as, God, I don't know, three different Viking 1s to make one good one. You know, got to have part sets. If you don't have part sets, you really can't do a very good restoration. Or you know, you got to start out with something good. But in the case of those Viking 1s, none of them were good. But the composite of taking 3 of them to build one ended up with one that was decent, you know, pretty good. So anyway, yeah, good on the Thunderbolt. I'll add that into that write-up. And let's see, ART13 from Dave, sounding good. And okay on the TCZ, yeah. I already said the story there about the gray one that belonged to Chuck. Their N7, what was it, UVZ was his call there, McClurg there in Carson City. Paul has that now, last I heard. N6FEG has that particular TCZ. So anyway, let's see. Update on the W7NOM homebrew transmitter. I have moved it. It is out of the back garage and into the shop area now. So I have been able to examine it carefully. The modulator and the power supply decks, beautiful. absolutely beautiful construction, polished aluminum chassis. It's just, fabulous. The RF deck and the antenna coupler, bad news. I think what happened is the guy there, W7NOM, changed his mind as he was building it. I think he built the power supply and the modulator first. Those are super. And then I think he got impatient or something. Anyway, it looks to me like the design changed mid-construction because there's a lot of parts in there that are mounted but not hooked up to anything, and they never had anything hooked up. So it was a possibility the thing never ran, so we don't know for sure. But what it looks like right now, antenna coupler was, the inductor was taken out of it. It was an L network, and I think he got tired of running an end-fed wire, and so that L network kind of went away. I think what was this transmitter was doing was he had an external VFO that had enough power, little exciter VFO type thing, and he was driving the power amplifier direct from that. And then the antenna coupler was, a little separate link input type coupler, like a Johnson Matchbox or something like that. Anyway, the W7NOM transmitter is the same height as W6MIT's big rig. It's 52 inches tall, and it doesn't weigh as much as John's transmitter, but it's pretty close. There's a lot of iron in it, a lot. The guy must have got about a dozen of these big filter chokes and, big plate transformer. It's got lots of iron, so the thing is pretty darn heavy. So at least it's on wheels. So that's the rundown on the W7NOM homebrew transmitter. That's in the process of analyzing it right now. As I mentioned last week, I do have the schematics, but they're in shorthand, if you know what I mean. Shorthand schematics will be in the basic drawing, no values, maybe some values, not all the parts are there, that sort of thing. You get the general idea what the guy was doing. So anyway, that's a rundown on the W7NOM homebrew transmitter. Runs about 110 watts or so output. And so there we go. Let's do round two. Let me check and make sure there's nobody else out there that wants to check in here. If you want to check in, Vintage Military Radio Net, be number 11. Do it now. Okay, round two. Up to Mike, W7MS. Go ahead there, Mike.
Well, okay, here we are for round two. Hello. Let me do a little tweaking here. WA7YBS, W7MS. Well, we'll start with you. Get on the W6NOM transmitter update. And comments on the, back to Bob on the Johnson T-Bolt and the Viking 1. So, good on that. I wonder if you've made your pilgrimage to Sparks to visit the National 600 James Millen transmitter that Ethan picked up, and of course now it's up on eBay for $20,000, so it's quite the talk of the community, but it's worth a visit. But as Ron had noticed, and I validated when we did an inspection, he's got Phillips head screws in the rack panels, no slotted screws, totally unauthentic. But I guess that was Mort Jones in Ramona, California's Choice of Hardware when he did the cleanup restoration on that. But curious if you've had a chance to visit the James Millen transmitter there in Sparks. And other comments, Chuck? Yes, a major difference. But we did hear you on 10 watts. You were Q4, Q5, but noticeably down. So something was amiss. And I guess what was amiss was turning the amplifier on, but you were pinning the S meter on your on your first transmission here in the official roundtable. And Steve on the V1, Jerry on the V3. Everybody's doing great. And of course Ron on the MAB. And of course what's kind of ironic is, like on the BC611, as mentioned by Tom, since he is an authority, since he actually used those in the Concord area, as he explained to me, installing television antennas and being able to talk to the folks maybe from the ground and up at the antenna, or vice versa. That built-in RF gain control on a BC611 is putting your finger on the antenna as an attenuator during receive. So I don't know if that'll work for Ron, but that could be a little problematic there. Yeah, and fine on the TCZ. Great to hear you've got the 400 volts enabled. And as Henry's mentioned, yeah, I did see the motor generator version in Chuck's lawn shed, and was relieved to find out that it moved on because it was not the best storage conditions, and it was certainly a beautiful, whether it was a depot refurb or out of the box, it really looked nice. And let me see, Bob, great on the 3500Z, but what are you exciting it with? I guess that's the question. And Vern, yeah, we had a brief conversation Friday night on sideband, and it was great to hear Vern on that other mode, and he sounded great today. So congratulations on the new installation. Dave's doing great on the R13, and Tom on the usual stuff, and Chuck with his amplifier on. So projects here. I got rather interested in the latest March-April edition of Electric Radio, and ordered to the Prog Rock 2 programmable oscillators from QRP Labs. And not having done any business with those guys, it took me a little while to figure out that the Prog Rock's being shipped from the country of Turkey. So we'll see what the shipping time is from Turkey to Reno. Hopefully it's maybe a little improved over China to Reno, but we'll have to see. But very intrigued with that. And some of the other former products that were through-hole products that were programmable have disappeared, as a lot of through-hole components have. And this being surface mount, if you've read the article, it's attached to a little circuit board, and also has an external TCXO, which gives it remarkable frequency accuracy, as opposed to the some of the Epson products, which were either 50 or 100 parts per million. So they were good enough for AM, but maybe problematic for sideband. So when those show up, and they can be programmed from a terminal emulator like PuTTY. No special jigs, accessories, or software required to program those guys. So looking forward to seeing if I have an application for it. But 2 in the mail to my location. So that's the long version here. So over to Steve, W6SSP, W7MS.
Okay, Mike, very good. And hey, a comment about QRP Labs. I built their QCX Mini about a year ago or so, and I was very, very, very impressed with it. Not only the quality of the parts, but the quality of the instructions. Just first rate all the way around, and wonderful products too. So yeah, shipped from Turkey, so it took a while, and shipping cost was not real high, but it added something. But anyway, I hope you're as happy with them as I have been. And Henry, very good on the W7NOM transmitter. And I'll tell you, I can understand the situation the builder had. We had both power supplies and built the modulator, and those all came out really nice. And then sounds like he redesigned the RF book, and several times over. Over several decades, I've been collecting parts for what I call the mobile transmitters. And I can think of that, picture it any way you want. But collection of parts has really grown over the years, and I've started it, I don't know how many times, half a dozen times at least. And the biggest problem I have is deciding what tubes to use, what inductors to use, what capacitors to use. There's such a wide variety of choices here that finding the right combination is nearly impossible. So I could see myself, if I ever get around to building it, I'd probably redesign it several times. So I can understand what the boss thought processes were. And Ron, very good on the MAB. Thank you for the description. I'll look it up later on. One of the cool things about this net and the folks in it are wide variety of equipment. Many things I've never heard of before. Always an education, and this today is no different. And Tony, very good on the TCZ. Wasn't aware that they ever made an ART13 version with an AC supply. That's pretty cool. That's something I'll have to look up. So noise levels here, the sun's come out, so noise levels have jumped from S1 to S6. Propagation is still pretty darn good, but noise is just going to get worse from here. So I think I'm going to say 73 for now. I'll listen for a while as long as I can, and see you all next week. So we'll send it over to, who's it go to here? Over to Jerry, W6JRY, W6SSP, 73 guys.
W6SSP in the group. W6JRY. Coming up a little bit there too. For a while there, you and Bay Area guys were down a little bit, and Nevada stations were a little strong. Just kind of up and down a little. Sometimes one side is up and the other one's down. So USU's starting to come in, but still very good signals here on everybody here this morning. And okay, on all the projects and the things that are going on, it seems like everybody's really busy. Ron with a MAB. I'm trying to picture that. A little bit. I have a pair of RBZs that were just receivers, and there was a transmitter used with that. The RBZs, they're kind of a little elongated receivers. They kind of wore them on a chest and a leather case, kind of a canvas type case. And there was a low band and high band, 2 to 5.8 and 5 to 13 megacycles on those. I restored a pair of those. They're in nice condition, and then built a power supply for them and so on. Didn't have the and they had the headphones in the helmet type thing too. But my understanding with the RBCs was that they were used with air to ground for maybe air delivery or something like that. Possibly clandestine operation to SOE or something like that. But I'll have to look up the MAB. I don't remember that, but I'm sure I've seen something about it in the past. And let's see, Tom, you're on the TCZ project and the TDD project. Okay on that. And everybody else's project there. And Henry, okay on the, I think it was 36MOM. You mentioned that last time, I think, acquiring that and going through that. Kind of reminds me of my first, well, I was 18, I built my first kilowatt transmitter, but it was in a 6-foot rack cabinet. And it was a pair of 4-250s, modulated by 810s, and 872s for rectifiers, and that back in those days type of thing. Used that quite a bit when I was down in Chico. But the only thing left with that is out in the back shed, which is my tank house for the water. I still have the 6-foot rack cabinet. I'm just using it for put some shelves in it for paint and miscellaneous things like that. So I think that's about the main piece of that that's left around here from days gone by. And let's see, what else has been going on here? I had a few days of just beautiful weather here. Was able to get some debris around the yard cleaned up, and a bunch of burning done here. And now it's back raining again. Been raining off and on for the last couple of days, and a little more coming, maybe some more today. Then it'll let up, and then a little more rain. April showers, I guess. Kind of really typical. It's not anything unusual. I did get out. I had a call from a friend of mine in the Bay Area, and he had acquired at one of the AEA handy talkies that I had. I got back in late 80s and 90s, and used that and made a lot of contacts and so on. And he was wanting to know, he was trying to make contacts with that on 10 meters. Propagation on 10 is up to somewhat, but it's not up very well. It's nothing compared to some of our last solar cycles. Just not enough ionization getting in the F layers and so on. But I did dig mine out. The last time I used it was in 2013, and made a bunch of contacts in with it. So I went out in a yard and see if I could make any more contacts with it. And it was really a struggle. I did get a couple of contacts, one with Louisiana and another guy in Texas, which are really a good contact, but it's a little VXO, kind of antiquated now with the things they're coming out with. VXO 10 meter AEA handheld with a 4-foot whip, 2 watts PEP output. But it's going to take a lot better propagation on 10 meters to be satisfactory and not having to have a lot of patience to make some contact. So that's been some of my activities, and some operating just on, 10, 12 meters. And that's about what's been going on at my QDH here. Lots of yard projects that it's getting harder and harder to get done, that's for sure. So I will move it along there to Ron with MAB. Tell me a little bit more about that. Is the MAB, is it a transmitter receiver together, separate, or what? NU6F and the group, W6JRY.
Okay, good deal, guys. Well, still good copy on all. I got, I'm having to listen half the time over on the SDR. The earphones, I tried to grab some clip leads and swap the earphones with 100 ohm resistor, and it just sounds distorted. So I'll have to make up a little adjustment for that, for the audio gain in that. Perhaps the original earphones were a little more power to drive, but I've got some under-helmet earphones I'm using with it, but it's apparently they're also way too sensitive. And yeah, Dave, the original mic, I had an RS-38 without the proper push-to-talk switch. There's 2 switches in the one for the audio and the other one for the that's a single pole double pro for the filaments, the switch from receive to transmit. So I ended up adding I did add a little relay in my mounting box, and so I keyed that to go and switch back and forth. The RS-38 I had didn't have any carbon in it. It looked in good condition, just a couple of granules left. So I experimented around with getting some carbon granules out of an old telephone handset, sprinkled some in, put it together, sprinkled some more in, put it together, and it works, but it's really in a lip mode. You have to just hold it right up to your lips to get the audio. And since I packaged this up with regular plugs, I've got got one of the carbon mics, one of the T17 mics plugged into it now, and it works fine. Yeah, the audio looks good, and so no complaints. And yeah, the radio's a 4-tube superhet, no RF amp. Apparently, really doesn't need it because I'm not having that much problem hearing the RF from everybody. Yeah, no, it's pretty small, and like you say, it's probably like the RBZ receiver, a similar kind of a deal, where it's got a skull cap that's got the two little earphones. Since I got this, I now have acquired all the parts for a complete MAB, original case and everything. So I have to, and I got that one working. I ordered some crystals for it. So I may be on in the near future with that one, with the original skull cap type mic earphones, and the RS-38 mic. We'll see what that all sounds like. But yeah, it's one of those projects that started out with a free chassis. The actual RF with a plug-in, a 10-pin, about a 10-pin plug. It's only it's pretty small for 7 miniature tubes. It's maybe 6 inches long by 4 inches wide and 1.5 inches high. So the oscillator coil for the receiver was open, so I ended up doing a WA7YBS, unwind the number 43 wire and put some number 37 wire on there and tuned it up. So that was really the only major thing wrong with it. But anyhow, so that was the deal on that. Chuck, yes, with the amplifier, although I heard you without the amplifier on the MAB. Tom, good deal on the TCZ, 400 volts, 28 volts, and now just a matter of firing up the 1100 and watch what the 866s do with the higher voltage. Hopefully you got it all cleaned out, and anything causing a fire, well, it's long gone. Plus, at least it's out in the garage, so if it makes any smoke, it won't smell up the house. And Bob, good deal on the Thunderbolt, and yeah, gosh, talk about a massive engine. I remember the first time walking up to one at one of the air shows. Holy cow. In the pictures, you don't get an idea of what the scale is on it. And let's see, what else? Oh yeah, Jerry, on your, wow, you made your first kilowatt at 18 with the 4CX 250s. I had dreams of that. All I had was the 4CX 250s and 2 sockets, and you know, it was probably here, what, 50-something, 60 years later, I get I finally get a pair of 4CX 250s and finish up a complete amp. But now the poor thing is nothing more than a paint locker out in the garage. Oh, for shame, for shame. And, well, Mike and Steve both with the prog rocks. Well, I guess we all got motivated from the article. I also ordered one. I got mine earlier this week, and I haven't done a thing with it because I've got these other projects going, and I've been spending a lot of time on Larry's M37 truck. So I got greasy fingers scratched knuckles, and I'm not sure what my lungs look like right now because boy, I've been breathing a lot of exhaust fumes and stuff burning off that old flathead. We made some good success. Got the vacuum leaks fixed. I was able to actually get it to idle. Then we had ignition issues. The 24-volt ignition coil's breaking down, so I ordered another one. It runs for about 20 minutes, and then it loses its spark. But anyhow, good success on that, so that's been fun, and with the warmer weather, it helped a lot. And Henry, the W7NOM rig, yeah, that does sound like it's in the boat anchor category, alrighty. Gosh, with all those heavy chokes, but at least you got one place to store all the chokes. It's in one place. And yeah, like Mike said, that the James Millen transmitter, I didn't look on eBay to see what it's going for, but yeah, it is a reflection on the days gone by. Okay, let's see. With that, Vern, glad to hear you got the new antenna. Yeah, boy, it's way stronger than you were before, so you got even with the squirrels on that one. Okay, with that, up to Bob. Still dreaming of the Thunderbolt, W6AQU, NU6F.
NU6F, W6AQU. Very good, Ron. Oh, interesting. On Larry's truck. Hadn't heard about that in a while. Sounds like you're got it at the running stage, and maybe running rich. RCA full page in ER. Comment on that. This month's ER magazine. Brad has a full page advertising the June 1 get together in Minden, Nevada. Let's see. Had another comment. Oh, yeah, Vern. I guess there's more squirrel stories coming, but your 100 watts certainly sounds good here. The other comment was on Jerry. You have that microphone or speech amp problem again. When you first came on, it lasted almost a minute before something got back in order and your audio got the way it should be. I think that's happened in the past, months ago. You got a bug someplace in that audio line. Let's see, MQI's not reporting much down there. I guess he's doing a lot of listening. At OPE, loud and clear as normal. Yeah, Chuck, it makes a big difference, although we copied you here. And BCT down there in the hills of Half Moon Bay. Bill, I don't know what you're doing down there, but it seems like you just keep plugging away, but I don't know. I think you need more wire or more watts. But that'll work better for me, I think. So, let's see, with that, down there to Groveland or the park there or something and get all the squirrel stories. So, Vern, VXY, go ahead. W6 Able, Queen, Uncle.
Okay, thanks, Bob. W6AQU and the group. K6VXY, a lot of interesting stories. And first thing is Mike. Yeah, it was nice talking to you on Friday night. I just started work on the antenna. There's more to do on that. It's raining outside now. I don't know what the temperature is, but I'm going to get another one of those white wires, I call it, but it's number 10 electrical wire, and hook up the other side. It's an old one, and then I'm going to get some bigger rope on that line. But probably going to use some of the fence wire for the other line, which is not a resonator. It just goes to the apex of the dipole. And I got about 70 feet of it and loop it over the tree that's the highest on the lot. So they won't get anything, those darn squirrels. The lady that was selling me the wire has got quite a garden and a lot of trees and things. She hates squirrels, called them vermin. And that wire that I used, or going to use, that's insulated, it's I guess a steel and aluminum or some sort of combination with a clear plastic coating on it. So they're never going to be able to cut through that unless you got unbelievable teeth, the squirrels that is. And the neat thing about the number 10 wire, of course it's new, is the sleeve on it slides through the oak trees very nicely. So it's been great to use. So I'm going to get the thing higher. And sorry that Tom doesn't hear me that well. I could run more power, but if I'm in the noise level, I don't know if it would make that much difference. And yeah, Jerry, you did cut out for a while and then came back. I don't know what it was. So I got a comment the other night from Mike, not WA7YBS, but the guy that's part of a radio club here in the Sonora area, that was cutting in and out. And I went up, I dropped the antenna down again, and one side there of the ballon had gotten kind of rusty. It's funny, one side rusts and one doesn't. I wonder if that's the ground side of the ballon, or they both. It's hard to tell which side is the radiator. I guess they both are once you got a ballon. But the degrees on the new section that was torn up by the squirrels has changed about 30 degrees. So instead of favoring, I would say, the Reno area or north of it, that half, the new half, now favors more toward where Henry and Chuck are, as near as I can tell, maybe even a little south. But it's up good and it's going to get higher. And it looks like the fan's kicking in on the linear. Yeah, it's running a lot of power there, so about 100 watts. Not a lot, but it's continuous. And I think that's all the comments. But anyhow, on the squirrel, I watched one the other day when I was out there working. He jumped 4 feet. I have a band of, I think it's called aluminum strapping. It's about 12 inches wide. And that wraps around the tree to supposedly stop him. It did for a while. But he was showing off. He was a bigger squirrel. He jumped 4 feet. He went up the antenna, not the antenna, he went up the tree, jumping over 4 feet in the air. And then I yelled at him quite a bit. And I got his attention. I said, you get out of there, get out of there. I didn't have my BB gun. I had shot him a few times. But the thing is, he came back down and jumped 4 feet over again. So I'm going to have to put another strap on that. But I've now got a better wire, and it loops over some branches up higher. That number 10 gauge, that's a lot of copper. I don't think he can cut through it. I've never seen him cut through my copper. But I have seen it on the nylon rope or whatever it is, polyester rope. But anyhow, that is there on the report. And I was worried about snow last night. No snow. And lightning. I don't think we had lightning, but I had grounded the antennas and disconnected one on a different band. So that part's, it survived it. But I'm going to add another number 10 gauge wire to the other half of the antenna, with that nice insulation, white cover. And it's electrical stranded wire. And then I'm going to use what's called fence wire. I guess it's a combination of steel, maybe aluminum, but you can solder to it. Over the third tree that I'm using, I've never had a problem up there. I shouldn't say that. But I'm going to loop it over where it goes, and that'll be far away from the antenna, so it's going to be a long length of wire going over the entire tree where it goes the input and output side of the tree. It covers it. And hopefully that'll make the installation permanent. I think that's pretty much everything. I'm sorry you don't hear me real well, Tom. I don't know. The direction that the antenna is pointing doesn't favor your direction real close. And that's part of it, I'm sure. Although I do hear Steve in Napa, but maybe that's getting a little skip, or in Napa area. And I do hear Jerry quite well. He had the microphone problem, but up there in Forest Ranch. So, with that, I will turn it over to Livermore, close by, W6 MQI Dave, running his R390. I always wanted an R390. I haven't found one of those. I'd like to hook up some of this other stuff, but I have to find a Dell key or some type relay like that so I can do my antenna switching, not rely on the radios. So, over to you, Dave. W6MQI and the group. This is, signals are all strong. That's 9, 10 over. Very good. It works great. W6MQI, Dave, K6VXY.
All right, K6VXY, W6MQI.
All right, man. Copper-clad steel wire.
That'll keep the squirrels from chewing through it. Well, you got other problems. But, you got some vicious squirrels up there. Well, conditions are degrading fast here. So I'm going to try, and I had things to say, but I'm going to probably keep it as quick as possible here. Chuck, I hear you now. Well, at least I did. I don't know if I'll hear you next time around. But once you put the amplifier on, I'll start hearing you again. Yesterday, I had a successful event on the Clatternet, West Coast to East Coast. Nick England, K4NYW, was able to copy me and did a torn tape and retransmitted my message to the East Coast stations, so that worked. I had to get up with the chickens to do it, but 4:30 in the morning. Net control is starting to monitor the frequency at 12:30 Zulu time, which is 5:30 in the morning here. So, but it was fun. I'm probably going to try again next weekend and see what happens. I could actually hear myself on the NA5B SDR receiver in Washington, D.C., although I couldn't see the trace, but I could hear myself. But, yeah, it was fun. It was cool. And yesterday, the wife and I went down to Cathy's Valley, down by Mariposa, look at a property, and saw a few down there, and I know her co-worker, he says, yeah, Mariposa's a kind of a pump. Well, you know what? It's not that bad. I mean, I guess because I lived up in that area, I already kind of know what it's like. Hey, they're old bull-bowling towns. What do you expect? It's not downtown San Francisco. Well, it's better than downtown San Francisco. Not a city, big city sort of place. I mean, not everything. You don't have all the amenities there, but yeah, it's fine to me. And the wife was okay with it. So we're going to keep on looking down there. Prices for property and such seem to be pretty reasonable. The one thing I noticed driving around some of the areas, you think you go out in the rural areas that the things are going to be quiet RF-wise. I saw a lot of electric fences. So that's kind of a bummer. A lot of electric fences. So Maybe next time I'll bring a little handheld receiver and take a listen while I'm on there, see how noisy it is. QRP Labs, yeah, I've ordered stuff from them. No problems on shipping. Actually, it seemed to be fairly quick. I was surprised. And Tom, if I miss on the TCZ, yep, when you throw that high voltage switch, as you always want, put a pair of earplugs in and safety glasses and stand to the side. You just never know. And I didn't know you had a TDE. I don't know where you put all that stuff down there in that house. Man, that's a big transmitter. But, well, good. So I'm going to say my 73s now, and I'll probably listen out. And everybody take care. Talk to you guys next week. So hopefully you're still hearing me there, Tom. WA6YOPE, W6MQI.
Okay, W6MQI, W6OPE, yeah. Boy, weird conditions this morning here. Dave, you got louder and louder and louder as the transmission went by. You were just really rapping in here towards the end of that transmission. Other stations, boy, just really been strange. JRY was kind of in the noise even after the audio came back, and then he built way up. And U6F I did not hear at all this last transmission. Didn't even hear him turn it over until Bob appeared. I couldn't hear Bob last transmission, but the most recent transmission, he was nice and loud. Same thing with Vern, nice and loud. And it's been all over the place this morning. Let's see, a couple of comments. Yeah, as far as, yes, I have a TDE is one of my smaller transmitters. The TCZ is even smaller than that. So there's a big old TBM set there with a motor generator set that goes with it. So yeah, it's monster heavy metal here. Not to mention a TDO, all 1,150 pounds worth of TDO, and a bunch of other stuff. It's crowded, very crowded. Let's see, one other note on the TCZ. When I fired up, started putting some additional fuses in, firing up more sections of it, all of a sudden, what's that smell? When there's a selenium rectifier, a full-wave selenium rectifier in the power supply that supplies voltage for a keen relay, which is in the power supply for remote operation. Well, that selenium rectifier is one of those deals died. Started emitting those nice fumes that you can taste as well as smell. So I had to evacuate the garage here for a while until that smell and taste went away. Boy, that's some terrible stuff. So that's got to be replaced, although it isn't imperative at the moment because I'm not using any remote control. So, but yeah, what fun if you've never done that, if you've never had that experience, look out. And the stuff is supposedly really seriously poisonous too. So, but you can't really breathe it long because as soon as you smell it, you say, "Yep, I'm out of here." And you taste it for a while. So that's not good. Not good. Let's see here. What else? Comments. Well, I just wish conditions were better. Conditions were terrible this morning for the most part. Even WA7YBS net control was weak on his last transmission, up and down. Lots of QSB. So I'm in some kind of a black hole here this morning. So I will say, one other note on the TCZ. There's a motor generator for the 28 volts. It's the only way they could do it at the time. It's 28 volts. I think it's 12 amps. It's rated amp. And that's for the filament voltage of and the other 28 volt needs for the ART or the TCZ transmitter itself. And I overheard my motor generator set. I had the armature dipped and baked and all the commutators turned, mic undercut, and new brushes. Well, the new brushes haven't set in yet, so the thing is noisy as hell. Brush noise. And it also, there's a 2/3 horsepower motor driving this AC motor, so it kind of chugs like a washing machine. and the brush noise is quite noticeable, almost irritating. I'm hoping that as the brushes seed in, it'll get quieter. If it doesn't get quieter, something's going to have to happen. But so far, so good. Yeah, it ought to be fun at firing up that 1150 for the first time in God knows how long. At least 60 years. Probably more than that. I'm trying to remember when the Hunters Point Shipyard closed. It was in the 60s, I think. I don't think it made it into the 70s, but maybe it did, so it may have only been 50 years. 50 years sitting on the weather, essentially, in a building with all the windows broken out. So that's it for me. I couldn't copy Chuck last transmission either, so anyway, I could sort of tell he was there, but that was it. Yeah, terrible conditions this morning. No copy on Bill. Could tell he was there, but that was it. So, 73, everybody. Talk to you all next week, maybe. Here comes Chuck K0DWC, WA6OPE. Okay, Tom. WA6OPE, K0DWC. Very good. 73s to you, and to Dave, and to Steve. Conditions still are too bad here. Jerry, when Jerry was on, he started out pretty strong and favored a little bit, but then it came back. So, I had 100% copy on Jerry. But everybody else seems to be doing fine. Good morning to Bill. Good to have you this morning, Bill. I heard you on your last transmission. And, conditions aren't half bad here. But anyway, I think I forgot to mention what I was running. I'm running a TCS 13, about 120 watts. And through the remote on the SV200 amplifier with the T17 mic with the electro module going up to an inverted V antenna. So that's my wind bar. I'm the comment on that W7 NRM transmitter. I saw that when Henry got it many years ago, and the craftsmanship on that thing is unbelievable. You look at it and you swear to God it was all steel, and it's just some of the finest woodworking I've ever seen on that thing. A section of that looks like a 310-piece speaker. I had to look at its face. It was so accurate looking. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like that before, but I'm glad Henry got that thing out and told me to start to work on it, because that thing's going to be a really nice transmitter when he's finished with it. So, I don't know, Henry, I don't know if you had a photograph of that on the web or not, on the website. I can't remember. I haven't seen it in a while, but definitely if you don't have it, get it up there on the website. That thing is really cool. Okay, guys, keep it going. Send it up to Bill. N6BCT in the group, K0DWC. DWC and 6 Bravo Sam. I got a little look back. Seems like and last time you guys came in on the 4th of that. So our purple N6BCT, WA7YBS. Okay, that was a pretty rough copy there, Bill, but I got a few words. So 73 to Steve.
W6SSP, Dave, W6MQI, and Tom, WA6OPE. Oh, Mike, incidentally, I have not been up there to see the National T600, I think is the model number of that transmitter, and with the James Millen connection. And it's pretty. Hardware is something some people. I mean, they just don't go to extra effort, to put dress screws in and the correct type of dress screws and cup washers and all the things the niceties, the little things. They're one of those universal screws that are combination blade and Phillips. Oh man, those are bad. Cadmium plated ones too. But anyway, I am next week. I'm thinking that we're going to go to Reno and we'll swing by. I'll call Ethan first to make sure he's going to be there, and not bother him too much. I don't know if he's got a lot of people looking at that, or I know there's 43 watchers on eBay, but I think that price is probably for 75% of them. But I don't know. You just never know. It's a very, very nice transmitter, although you definitely don't want the cat in the room with the transmitter operating. So anyway, let's go ahead and do the 73 round, and let's see if we can wind this thing up. Up to Mike. And remember, Steve has signed W6SSP, Dave has signed W6MQI, and Tom has signed WA6OPE. W7MS, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Henry. WA7YBS, W7MS. And I'll keep it short because quite a bit of QSB, but on the last round it was Q5 for everyone except Bill, but with noticeable QSB, including Ron. And mentioning Ron, I'll sign him out. I received a text message. He has to get out the door here, so I'll sign Ron out also. I'll be the official signer-outer. But great comments on QRP Labs. I had my version sent via postal service since it's registered mail, and I didn't want to miss. If you miss FedEx, it just gets to be an issue. If you miss FedEx deliveries for the signature, so it may be slower, but at least I can drive 3 minutes to the post office and pick it up. So, with that 73s, and looked like I chose the right hardware this morning based on band conditions. So. And thanks, Henry, for on the show, and looking forward to your critique on the T600. Over to Jerry, W6JRY, W7MS.
Okay, very good, Mike. W7MS. I'm watching my audio here now. I don't know what went wrong. I see it moving the needle up and down about the right place. Let's hope it stays that way. Yeah, intermittents drive you nuts. Mike, you've been the strongest, steadiest, and the best audio that I've heard all through the whole situation here. All the QSB and so on. So the setup you got there today is really nice. Really good audio too, for my ears anyway. And everybody has a kind of a little different audio range that they like, and yours really suits my ears just fine anyway. So okay, just roger all the comments, say 73s to everybody, and it's been a good day. Oh, Tom, you were way up when you come on your last transmission, but then the USB was moving things around. So it's been kind of a up and down morning here today with it, but I haven't missed anything on anybody. Still good copy. Unfortunately, low noise with the rain. When the rain comes here, it kind of knocks what noise is around. As soon as it starts drying out, I'll probably have some noise, but generally it hasn't been really too bad through the last few months. So, anyway, Ron, over to you. 73s, everybody, have a good day, and hope to see you next week. NU6F in the group, W6JRY.
Ron signed via mic there, so it goes to Bob, W6AQU. Go ahead.
Okay, Henry.
Well, I got okay Henry from Bob, and then that was it. So I think Bob blew a fuse. Let's go to Vern, K6VXY. Go ahead.
Okay. Here I am. This K6VXY, because short band conditions are changing. And I would agree with Jerry. Mike has one wheel of a great signal. It sounds like a transmitter that could run 2 or 3 times the power, and it's coasting where it's at because it's steady and it sounds great. So, with that, I will turn it over to MQI assigned. I'm going to try OPE, but I think he's on. Chuck, if you're up next, you take it. Good morning to this K6VXY. Been enjoyable and onward and upward. I intend with my future improvements to get the antenna higher off the ground, like those squirrels. 73 is all.
Okay, Ben, K6VXY, K0DWC. We're good. Yeah, I heard OK Henry too from Bob, and that was it. But anyway, maybe I'll try it back here in just a second. I don't know. But, anyway, guys, 73s, and thank you everybody for being there. I'll be in that control next week, and look forward to having all of you back again. So with that, Henry, I'll give you a buzz later this afternoon, and I'll send it over to Bill, M6BCT, in the group. This is K0DWC, Dayton, Nevada, SAT 73.
Okay, Bill, N6BCT, WA7YBS. Let's see if Bob's there. W6AQU, you back? Go ahead.
Yes, we're back. Blown fuse Bob. 73s, yeah. This 50 kW exciter keeps blowing fuses. Good morning to all from W6A. Now go.
Okay. And 73 to all. Thanks a lot for your participation, Finnish Military Radio Net. And everybody have a good week coming up. And Chuck will be net control next weekend, so we'll hope to hear everybody back then. Till then, 73 and WA7YBS will be off and cleared.